Don't you love having a favorite food item? One that maybe you grew up eating or drinking and find it really nostalgic? Or maybe one that you just ate a lot during a certain period of time, and then having the company that produced it take it away from you because of a shifting market or because of poor sales. Unfortunately, I've been in that predicament many a times, and I'm sure you guys have as well, and that's what this interesting video is about. I have a few sections for this video. Foods that have been taken off the market, but I managed to get my hands on. No, not as in expired food. I know this is an Ashen's style ripoff, but I'm not eating expired food today. But I managed to get my hands on those foods anyway. Foods that are currently limited edition, and if you're watching this video in a few years' time, you won't see it again, unless they bring it back. Just straight up foods that I've grew up with and I haven't eaten for like 10, 15 years, and foods that have gone away and came back, sometimes in the same form, sometimes not. I'm going to start with foods that are currently limited edition and you probably won't see in a few years because I'm thirsty and I have 2 drinks. One drink that I got is Pepsi Raspberry. Now, this isn't exactly an interesting or unique flavor. I feel like Pepsi Max Raspberry existed. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Google it. Yeah, okay, never mind. This food item doesn't exist. Well, this drink item doesn't exist now in the UK. Now they're doing dessert drinks, so they've got Pepsi Raspberry Ripple. Don't know how I feel about that. They also did a cookies and cream one. That'll probably also be a lost foods in a year's time. I can't imagine that sticking around forever. Okay, so unintentionally, I've managed to hit a different category than I was expecting to. So this is a drink that's been discontinued, but I managed to get my hands on it. The way I managed to get my hands on it is by going to a Polish shop. So yeah, British people can't just go to Tesco and get this. And also, reason I picked it up is because it's not Pepsi Max. It actually has sugar. I hate sweeteners. I really, really do. They just straight up give me a headache and make me feel even more dehydrated than if I just didn't drink. It's really strange. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I picked up in a Polish shop in the UK, but actually, this is a drink that's only destined for Czechia and Slovakia. Okay, well, let's give it a crack, shall we? I'm not going to do this over the sofa, in case it does fizz out. There you go, some ASMR for you guys. Have the stupid cap, which I don't like, but it saves the polar bears and the fishes, so whatever. I was not expecting the raspberry flavour to be so strong. Yeah, this is actually quite nice, you know. That is lovely. That is actually really flipping nice. Wow. And again, it makes such a difference because in the UK, you just cannot get flavoured Pepsi that isn't Pepsi Max, where you just don't taste the flavouring, you just taste the sweetener. It's all you can taste. I hate it so much. Okay, sweet. Well, I actually wanted to start with a theme of foods that have been discontinued, but I've been able to get my hands on them. So let's continue. Alpenliebe. Do you guys remember Alpenliebe? I grew up on these sweets, man. And for years, I've been like, what happened to them? And I've Googled it and I just couldn't find them anywhere. Well, if you saw my recent-ish video about me going to Hamburg, I was actually just looking for just a generic shop because I needed something to drink. I was thirsty. And I managed to come across an Asian import shop. And I found these. And also found the drinks that I was looking for. And I just couldn't resist. What's really cool about these, so these are obviously from Vietnam. I say obviously, and I'm looking just to make sure I'm correct. Yes, it's from Vietnam. So they come in individual packets like this one, and it's split apart. And yeah, they're just these little hard-boiled sweets with a sort of a strawberry and cream flavour, I'd say. I've had these already, as you can tell by the pack being open. But I'm going to have another one so I can remember how it tastes. Oh, yeah, it's really, really cool how this just... I think the recipe just straight up hasn't changed since I was a kid. These taste exactly as I remember them tasting. So every time it's funny though, because every time I have this, like 5 minutes later, I forget what it tastes like. So every time I have another one of these, I'm like, wow, that takes me back. It's like the exact same thought. I'm not actually a fan of hard-boiled sweets. I was when I was younger. Now I sort of eat for calories, not for a taste, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't actually normally buy these anymore, or any gummies, or I'm a bit more purposeful with what I eat nowadays. So yeah, as far as I can tell, these have been discontinued in Europe, and I think they have been discontinued in America as well. So I'm not really sure where you can get these, other than Vietnam and possibly other neighboring Asian countries. I have to spit it out, because otherwise this video would just be me 10 minutes of sucking on that. Oh god, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. Holes. Now, these haven't been discontinued. As you can see, I've got one right here. Is this from Poland? Because I bought it in the Polish shop, and it looks like it is... Yes, Mondelez, Poland. In fact, I'm going to have one. Because I haven't had holes in actually a long time. more or less. I'll go into that in just a second. Yes, it's got this little like paper holes wrapper, and this is what it looks like. It's a sort of a kite shape, for the lack of a better word, with a little H that's imprinted in. Actually, it's a tiny bit indented. And I actually got a cola flavor. Although in some countries you cannot actually get any interesting flavors like this. The holes are mostly just menthol soothers. While something like this, okay, it's supposed to give you caffeine, it's supposed to give you vitamin B6. Still, like a sort of a diet supplement. It's not just a sweet for the sake of being a sweet, but it's actually got an interesting flavor, which is why I picked this one up. Let me have a taste, because I've never had it before. Yeah, instantly tastes like, wow, that is a strong cola taste. That's actually kind of impressive. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested, the caffeine content is 0.1%. Amazing. These are actually quite nice. And because they are holes, I think they do have a tiny bit of menthol. Let me have a look. Apparently not. But if you've ever had a holes before, like when the sweet actually mixes with your saliva and you swallow it, it does have a tingly sensation, which is why I thought maybe it does have menthol in it, but okay, I also had to spit that out because otherwise I'd be here forever. But yes, holes themselves aren't discontinued. Don't know if you can get this flavor in the UK or in America, but they aren't discontinued. They are still here. But what I want to talk about are Chinese holes. Thank you for focusing on cue. Yeah, when I went abroad to China in October, I found some holes, and I was just instantly intrigued because I saw the picture. And I went crazy. I was so excited to see these. I've never had an autism diagnosis, but me being extremely excited about holes, that might be a supplement for a diagnosis. Interestingly enough, as I was having these ones, I had a quick scan of what it says there, and I can in fact show you. Ingredients: white sugar, while these are with sweeteners, sugar-free. Yes, again, as per usual. So in China, and as well, I know it's the case in Brazil and possibly some other countries, holes are just fruity flavors, not necessarily designed to give you energy, give you vitamins, give you, soothe your throat. They're just there as a little sweet, just like the Alpenliebe was. And these are interesting because each one of these has a different flavor. So this is a mix of flavors in there. We can see also here it says cooling meter. So these aren't very cooling at all. And once again, they come in a very similar wrapper with the holes text on there. And this is a pink one. I imagine by looking at this that it will be a pink grapefruit flavor. But yeah, the reason I went absolutely ham over this is the shape. It's the original shape as I remember as a kid, which you can't see because the camera is overexposed. Yeah, you see, it's got like a big hole in the middle. And it's so fun to put in your mouth. Please don't take that out of context. Because it's something for your tongue to just grab onto. And you can just... Oh God, I can't say it without it just sounding dirty, but you know what I mean. Like you stick your tongue in the hole and then suck on it that way. Fuck's sake. Let me just have a taste. To be fair, with the fact they're a square shape, they are actually a bit more difficult to eat. Well, suck on. Because you can't really sort of go around each corner. You really do have to put your tongue in the middle. These are also a bit stickier, which I don't know if that's just because of transport as well. And because they have actual sugar in them, they are very, very sweet. Ultimately though, taste-wise, I wouldn't say that they're really any different. It's just a more nostalgic shape. Because that's the shape I remember as a kid. And I was so disappointed when they changed the shape, to the point I never bought holes again, I don't think. I might have bought them once when I had a sore throat, but normally I go for strepsils. Ricola. That one's even better than strepsils, I think. But I never get holes anymore. Again, spin that out because that'll take forever. But that was definitely pink grapefruit. A flavor profile I actually quite like. But again, each one of these has a different... actually, that one is also pink. Hold on. There you go. That one is green. So that will probably be lime. So yeah, it's quite... Yeah, it's very citrusy, this pack. And I like citrus fruits. Although if you have them open from the... if you have the wrapper open for too long, they do progressively get stickier. Which makes them less fun to suck on. Next item. Wrigley's... Yes, I pronounced that right, I think. Juicy fruit. I haven't had juicy fruit since I was a kid. I don't know which countries it's available in anymore. I mean, I don't really look out for chewing gum anymore. I get some now and again just to... But even when I do that, nowadays I mostly just get like minty ones just to freshen up my breath. I don't really go and get fruity ones. I mean, sometimes I'll get bubblegum because, you know, that's a fun flavour, but... Although in saying that, when I went to Japan, I got some grape chewing gum. Oh, hold on, that's another segment. Sorry, I was under the impression that I bought Tridents. I didn't, I bought a lot. So it doesn't really fit the theme of this video. However, what does fit the theme of this video is that they're these sticks, right? They're not chiclets. These like long strips. I've not seen strip chewing gum for ages, and Trident in the UK was the like only company that I can remember that did them. And nowadays it is just, if you're gonna get gums, it's gonna be a chiclet. But anyway, yeah, let me just Google juicy fruit quickly. Yeah, I think they're still around in America, but not in Europe, as far as I can tell, because I haven't seen them for a very long time. And Wikipedia says it's also got discontinued in Germany and Austria. I think it's the same with Poland. And these, you wouldn't guess where they're from. It's not America, it's Kenya, which is interesting. And what's even more interesting is that these actually, supplied by Konstantina Tech Poland Spółka ZO. Interesting. Okay, so they were manufactured in Kenya, imported by a Polish company, and then arrived in the UK. Interesting. But yeah, sorry, what I was saying is it's interesting because these actually have sugar. When's the last time you had chewing gum that actually had sugar? Actually, let me see if these Japanese ones. I feel like an old man moaning about ingredients in food. This product may cause loose stools. Well, that's the only thing that's translated. So that would imply it's sweetener. Yeah, sweeteners. Yeah. And there's a good reason, actually, for why chewing gum has sweeteners. It keeps the flavor profile for longer. These actually last quite, 5-10 minutes before the flavor goes out. It's pretty good. As you can see, I've already had the juicy fruit and I'm going to have another one. The flavor goes in like a minute or two. It's really not that great. However, I don't actually remember what this tasted like. It's supposed to be like a bubblegum type of flavor. Let me have a taste. Yeah, I think so, but it's not just bubblegum. If you buy any other bubblegum chewing gum, it tastes slightly different. Yeah, it's bubblegum, yeah. But I think it's the fact that, again, it has sugars instead of sweeteners. That's what makes it taste different to a standard bubblegum chewing gum. It's nice, I enjoy. Wouldn't buy it again. I have a fun story about juicy fruit, by the way. I'll make it short, but there used to be text on the Polish juicy fruit that would say that it's good for like tooth health. I don't think the European Union allows that anymore because I don't know how strictly true that is, especially because, you know, you're just chewing on sugar. But I took that very verbatim as a kid, and I think I went through a whole packet, or maybe just had like through most of the packet in like one sitting. And my mum was like, "Stop it," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's good for my teeth." And that's the last time I had juicy fruit. Funnily enough, wonder why. And on a final note to end this segment is this Snickers spread. Now, anyone who's watching who's from Poland and lived through the 90s, so not me on that part, remembers the Snickers bread spread that was around, and people rave about this. And in many like Polish videos about, you know, foods that have since been discontinued, people talk about how amazing it was and how this one just isn't the same. Incidentally, also you cannot get this in Poland, but I think you can get it in Germany, so you might see this in like Kaufland or Deals occasionally. But again, seeing as I've never had the original one in the 90s, I think this is actually quite nice. I still remember what it tastes like. I've actually had quite a fair bit of it. It's really nice. It's not like Nutella or like a generic chocolate spread, because as you can see, a lot of it is caramel. And even the chocolate spread, yeah, it does actually taste like Snickers. Because Snickers has a bit of a unique, like, chocolatey taste. Okay, well, let's start another segment, which is foods that I'm very nostalgic about, and I'm kind of surprised that they are still going. Starting with this, I haven't had since I was a kid, because, again, I don't really have sweets anymore. Zozole, specifically, the cola ones. I loved these as a kid. They just have such a unique taste, and I can still remember them without even having them. I mean, they will taste quite similar to the Halls, I'm not gonna lie, from memory. But it's the fact that they're really bubbly inside your mouth. It's a really unique sweet that I haven't seen sort of anywhere else in other countries. Let's have one. I also haven't had, what was it called? Nim 2. I could have picked these up. They were in the Polish shop. I don't know, I spent £20 on this video. I didn't want to spend any more, especially on sweets that it's gonna take me forever to get through. But I do remember these very, very vividly. Especially these. Oh, these are so good. Oh, but to be fair, I remember the flavor profile perfectly. Like that chewy outer shell and a bit of like juice that's inside. Oh, it's so good. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Zozola Cola. So let's have that. I wonder if these have changed since I was a kid. I wonder if they, you know, are based on sweetness now. Let's have a read as I have this in my mouth. No, sugar. Nice. There was a bit of a fizz on the outside, and that's coming through now as I suck on it. These are fun sweets. Because the more you suck on it, the more the like bubbles come out, so to speak. But I remember how depressing it is when you get all of the fizz out of them, and you're just left with just the hard-boiled sweet. To be fair, I did misremember a little bit. These don't really taste like the Halls at all. Like vaguely, you know, it's still artificial like cola flavor, but these actually taste more like the Cola Chupa Chups, which I also haven't had for a very long time. But yeah, no, I don't think the flavor has changed since I was a kid, so that's pretty good. You can see the like fizz that's embedded. Oh yeah, you can see it very well now in the middle of the sweet. And then you can see, so when I said that, I'm getting the fizz already, like it was from that opening. So if I was to suck through that now, there's nothing there left. Yeah, it's just a very interesting sweet. I do like it. Next food item, Star Twistos. Oh god, I flipping love Twistos. These are my favorite crisps. These are my favorite food item ever. These are so good. And I am actually surprised that these are still going, because these are really quite hard to come by. And they were for a very long time. When I was a kid, there used to only be one place that I would get it from. Luckily, it was kind of a few minutes walk from my house. It was at a... actually, I just googled the shop. And actually, it was just called a Delicatessen. Well, Delikatesy in Polish. And surprisingly... Oh, right, I was going to say, surprisingly, it's still open. No, this Street View image is from 2012. It has most definitely shut down because an Euro has opened and a Żabka has opened. So, you know, the death of independent Polish shops is big companies coming and having the corner shop market. Anyway, besides the point, I remember exactly where the Twistos were in that shop. As you come in, they were on the left-hand side by the tills. And even now, these are still really hard to come by. In the UK, I've seen these in 2 Polish shops in my whole life. And in Poland, I just don't see them at all. I'm not going to open it because I want to actually save this packet and not have it go stale. But these are great. And these are manufactured by Frito-Lay, so PepsiCo Poland. And these never had really a brand. They were just called Twistos as a kid. Then they rebranded to Star and had a different packaging design. I'm sure I'll throw it up on screen. And then this is the latest packaging design. So it's actually gone through a few design changes. And it's being put under this sub-brand of Star, which just, other than these Twistos, just makes generic, like, corn snacks. But these are very unique in the taste, and I'm glad to say that the taste just hasn't changed since I was a kid. But I'm just not sure how much longer this will go on for. Like, can Frito-Lay justify these existing because they're a low-volume item? Or would they discontinue it because it's a low-volume item? I'd love to know, but I never will. So let's move on. Lay's sticks, I will open these because I haven't had these in a long time. Fondly remember that this isn't how the packaging used to look. Yeah, if my memory serves me right, this is how the packaging used to look. And you can see that you're supposed to open it from the side. And from the Lost Foods videos that I've seen, apparently these have changed in taste. Although it's been so long since I've last had these, I probably won't notice the difference. By the way, ketchup flavor is very much a Polish thing, or at least a Central to Eastern European thing. You never see it in the UK really. Actually, I've seen Lay's that it was a limited edition one with Heinz ketchup, but normally you don't see ketchup flavored crisps. No, I love these. These are very good. Yeah. These do taste like how I remember them tasting, but some people say otherwise. I'm very much gonna enjoy these later. I remembered there was one more food item that I want to yap about, which is this jelly that is gooseberry flavored. I loved this as a kid, and again, I'm very happy that this still exists and you can still buy it, because again, I've been having these all of my life. Haven't had one in a while though, but I'll be looking forward to eating this at some point. I have got a lot of crisps to get through now. But yeah, gooseberry. Not really a berry that you see in the UK often. My parents actually had a gooseberry farm in our back garden. It was really cool, and you know, being a little kid and just being able to go up and pick one and eat one is like so cool. And actually, yeah, I like the taste of gooseberries. I just don't see them very often. Like, British people on Twitter love to go, Americans don't even know about blackcurrant. It's like, yeah, but the Brits know about gooseberries? If I asked someone on the street if they ever had one and know what one is, would they know? I don't know. Cheetos balls. This is how I remember these. Cheetos, footballs, cheese flavor. I'm hoping that these are the same, and to be fair, they look kind of the same. But I just find it peculiar because, as you can see, these are branded with the FIFA World Cup branding. It's just that a response like, back in the day you used to get cool stuff with your crisps, Like you'd have a strip here, and it would tell you that, like, I don't know, there's something inside, a little toy or a little card or something, whenever there'd be like a sponsorship or a collaboration. Nothing like that nowadays, just an ad for FIFA. Very cool. But yeah, it's just peculiar that this is, FIFA branded, but they didn't bring the footballs back. They're just trying to, put these off as just being cheese puffs. They definitely do look different. They are, they look more like American cheese puffs than the old footballs, which means that the flavor, sorry, not the flavor, but the actual way you're feeling your mouth is different. Let me confirm. Yeah. These are American cheese puffs. It's been so long since I've had the football ones. I can't remember exactly how they tasted, but I remember them definitely being harder, like they've almost been overcooked. And I remember, I think Adam, when the football ones came to the UK for a very short period of time, he really didn't like them at all. And I can't remember if these taste like the football ones or not, in terms of the actual flavor profile. They taste really good, don't get me wrong. I just can't remember. Have another one. Let me 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 have another one. Okay, my conclusion is, I think they are similar, but they are not the same. Hula hoops. These are a British brand. They are very, very much ingrained in the British culture. They're, you can put them around your finger, and you can pretend that, you've got a wedding ring, or you can put them around all of your fingers and then eat them from your hand like that. It's stuff that you do as a kid. They taste really good. There's a barbecue beef flavor, which there's a reason I got that one in particular. But there's also a ready salted flavor that I really like, and there might be some weird British ones that only British people like pickled onions and salt and vinegar. Ugh. I'll have paprika and ketchup any day of the week. The reason I picked these up, though, is because I've seen these in the Polish shop. So the British staple of hula hoops have come to Poland under the Chio brand, which actually makes me think, who makes these? Insnack. Right, yeah, and Insnack own hula hoops. They own Pom Bears, which in Europe they're called Monster Munch. Here in the UK, Monster Munch are a completely different brand of crisps by Walker's, also very nice. Yeah, Insnack's cool. But yeah, these are a honey barbecue sauce as opposed to just barbecue beef. So I'll be intrigued to see what the difference is. Because sometimes, especially with Doritos, like the UK Dorito names and the European/Polish ones, they have different names. Like Chili Heatwave is called Hot Corn, but they are identical. And actually, I said that these have come to Poland, they haven't. These are from Romania, or Bulgaria, or Moldova, or Hungary. Also, look how much bigger this pack is. Let's see, so that's 70 grams. And this is 70 grams. No way. Why is this bag so much bigger? As a matter of fact, yeah, of course it is. Half this bag is empty. Deceptive marketing. Oh, wow. Wait, what the hell? These are massive. Let me open the barbecue ones for a comparison. So these are the British sizes, approximately. They're all a slightly different shape. And these are the Moldovan/Bulgarian/Romanian ones. Actually more circular, but they are thick boys. Alright, let's try the European ones. They taste nothing like a hula hoop. They taste more like a Geo. Oh, yeah, sure enough, it is honey barbecue sauce. I ate something similar to that flavor profile. Really nice, actually. Yeah, you can really taste the honey now. That's really nice, but I feel like by the end of this bag, that might get a bit sickly sweet. Let me try the British hula hoop. You'll be able to tell by the crunch that they're completely different. See how crunchy they are? God, these are very nostalgic to me, growing up as a kid in the UK. It does have a little bit of that meaty punch, which this is of course lacking because there's no beef. It's honey barbecue. Yeah, they're pretty mid. They are pretty low to mid, I'd say. They're not anything special. These are like God's semen. Okay, and for our third and final segment, we're going to be talking about crisps that are currently limited edition. In a year or two time, or maybe even 6 months time, you probably won't see these products anymore. Lay's. inspired by Polska Kiełbasa flavor. Pretty self-explanatory, really. These are made for the FIFA World Cup. Also wouldn't surprise me if this was a flavor that they've done in the past and they've brought back, and this will disappear, and in a few years' time we'll see it again. Not too sure. I haven't done my deep dive research on Polska Kiełbasa Lays. Okay, this is actually hilarious. So, Lays in Poland, as with many products in Poland, they aren't just made for Poland. They'll be made for like Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary. They'll go to all of those Central European countries, which means that there's multiple languages on the back. But since these are made just for Poland, for obvious reasons, there's just Poland in there, and then there's just absolutely nothing there. Now, someone like Walker's, which of course is also PepsiCo Frito-Lay, this is just going for the UK, but they accounted that this is just going to be for the UK because most of the Walker's stuff is just for UK and maybe Northern Ireland and whatever. They actually have put stuff on the back of the box, packaging. They haven't done that here. It's very funny. But yeah, let's see how the Polska Kiełbasa tastes. Put a gun to my head and ask me what flavor this is. I don't know if I'd be able to tell you. Yeah, it's just a generic meat taste. A generic like pork taste. Actually, Walker's, so the British Lays, Walker's bacon crisps taste almost identical now that I think about it. Especially the aftertaste. Wow, that's quite pathetic. Hey look, the UK has its own equivalent. I imagine every country has its own equivalent. So here's the English one, because that's the one I could get my hands on. Bangers and mash. I saw this in the corner shop yesterday, and I didn't know whether I wanted to get it. And I decided that it's just going to be sausage and potato, flavoured potato crisps. Like, there's a lot of potato. I don't know how I feel about that. But I got it for this video, so we'll see how I feel about that. I do like the minute differences in the packaging, not just the logo. Actually, that's a whole new Walker's logo. When did that happen? Okay, change this. Oh my god, I hate fandom. What? This is the exit bun. Oh, there you go, work now. Okay, yeah, change this year. Interesting. And it's more reminiscent of, I think, 90s logo. It's got the pre-Frito-Lay design. But yeah, other minute differences include the Polish one having more like, the traditional folk style, like the flowers in the red sections, while the Walker's one is more, here's the English flag, St. George's cross to be precise, but otherwise a very similar design. And noticeably a different taste. These actually taste more like sausages. Of course you can't taste the mash because it's just a potato. In a way, even though these taste more like sausages, I don't like them as much as the Polish sausage one, because that just tastes like the bacon flavor, which I really like. Yeah, they're not bad at all. I might be sad to see it go, especially since the Walker's collection is usually just salt and pepper, yeah, I wish, salt and vinegar, cheese and onion, prawn cocktail, like the worst flavors.